Welcome to the LVR podcast, LVR Talk. I'm Brandon Roberts, your 2022 president, along with our CEO, Wendy DeVecchio.
Did you really just forget my name? You had to look at me to remember my name?
No, I was just going to see if you wanted to introduce yourself or if I was just stepping on your toes. How could I forget your name?
It's like mid-year. You're like, almost forgot my name there.
I'm already out of here. No,
you are not.
No. Sometimes it might feel like it because we just did have our elections. Our 2023 board is now set in place. Excited that that's done and out of the way. That's always a big chore, and there's a lot of time spent on that, and a lot of great candidates ran. And I want to thank everyone that ran, even the ones that didn't pull it off this year. But if you haven't heard yet, Lee Barrett will be your president next year. He was elected last year as president-elect. Mary Perry will move in as president-elect this year. Stephanie, not this year, next year. She'll be next year's president-elect. See, I'm already messing it up. All right, and Stephanie Grant will be your vice president. Josh Campa, treasurer. I will be your immediate past president, almost getting kicked to the curb. And Wendy DeVecchio, see, it's even written here, I can't forget your name, will still be our chief executive officer. And
I like how you put the word steal. Like it's, we're going to do this
it's like over. You're the undisputed champion, all right? So, and then the new board of directors, and some of them are existing. Shane Wynn was reelected for a 2-year term. Jeffrey Lavelle will be new to the board on a 2-year term. Bobby Stardust also will, it's actually Bobby Dust.
Sorry, Bobby
right?
Dust.
She will be a 2-year term. Brittany Gaitan is a 2-year term. Mm-hmm. Nancy Anderson, a 1-year term. She will fill the vacancy from one of the directors that are moving up, Josh, and Paul Rich will be a 1-year term as well, and he will fill Mary's vacated seat because she moved up as well. Yes. Then the additional board members that will continue to serve, they have one more term, is Chris Bishop as a director, Ellie Morris, and Jeff Zahler. That's going to be kind of hard with two Jeffs spelled that way. I always mix them up, and now they'll both be sitting there looking at me.
Correct.
So, and then Steve, how do you say that last name?
We just call Steve K.
Steve K. will be the MLS chair, and he will also have a seat on the board as per our new bylaws that were passed at our general membership meeting that you're going to cover. Yes. And then we have Natalie Allred, who will have a seat as the CALV president. So that'll round that out. That looks like a great group. There's a lot of new people there, fresh ideas, and looking forward to that.
Very exciting.
And the numbers, it was a good turnout. It wasn't our record turnout. We had a few less than last year, but we had 4,268 members actually vote this year, which was 24.71% of the membership. Not bad.
A good turnout.
Yeah, good turnout.
Really good turnout.
Very competitive and lots of fun. And so we'll move forward with that. Now these new directors can sit quietly for the next 6 months before they get an opportunity to actually serve, but they'll move into that position. A little bit on the market, we are seeing a bit of a slowdown in the local housing market, and for the first time since April of 2020, local home prices actually went down slightly from 1 month to the next. This happened from May to June. Before last month, we were setting new records for existing local home prices almost every month for the past 2 years. As for the future, it is always hard to make a prediction. Like most national experts, though, I suspect we'll continue to see slower sales and more stable prices in the near term. The recent jump in mortgage interest rates had a lot to do with slowing things down. Also, the rate of appreciation we've been seeing over the past 2 years or so was not very sustainable. This should balance the housing market, and slower sales and stable prices are always welcome news for buyers, many of whom have been frustrated with the past few years trying to find a home, competing with multiple offers and watching prices, and now interest rates rise. Ta-da.
Yes, and did you sign up for Lawrence's class for next week? He's doing a seminar on the market.
I did, and I'm excited to hear that. I always love to listen to Lawrence Yun.
Yeah, he's very good. So if you guys did not receive that email, you should look in your junk mail or your email from National Association. the economic, Lauren June's coming on to do an economic update, which will be really good, which will follow up with what you just talked about with
and
the
it's
market.
like through a Zoom webinar type thing.
It's a Zoom through national.
You can get that information from right at your own desk or your home. But now is a critical time to be watching the market as we are seeing a shift, and it'll be interesting to see what happens from here. So, but what's going on at the association?
So a little bit like the market, our numbers are doing the same thing. So we gained members from 1 month to the next. So before we were about 17.2, and then we went to 1781. It seems like it's a good thing because we're going up instead of down like we did at the first of the year. But what you really need to pay attention to is a year over net gain, which is going down. Last month, we had almost 200 more than net gain than we did for the month before that. So we got to watch that, and we got to watch the drops. We had significantly more drops last month than we did the month before. And so it seems like we still do have people coming in, but we have more people going out than we have come in. So just like the real estate market with the numbers, we got to watch our numbers here too at the association. We're starting to see a little bit of a drop.
Some of that drop because of the key fees or the MLS? What was just due?
No, the key fee, that has nothing to do with the key fees because the key fees are not due until the 25th, which is next week.
Oh.
So yeah, it wouldn't be
There
for
goes my theory.
It wouldn't be for the keys yet. Now the keys have nothing, have to do with your membership and its type, but not like MLS does. So we're going to see when MLS billing goes out on September 1st, you'll get a prediction a little bit about October numbers for MLS about who's going to renew in January. But we'll be interested to see when we do the budget in October what that's going to look like.
But this is, like you say, it kind of mirrors the market a little bit. When there's less sales happening, there's more agents chasing less sales, which means some of them get out of the business.
Correct. So we just got to pay attention to that. Our numbers for pending are down this month and over last month. We have about 177 pending. We do, like I said, with the drops, we got to be careful with the drops because since January we've had 1,439 or 37 drops, So that is a lot. And we've only had 1,278 people go through orientation. So you can see that the numbers are already starting to scale back some. Just shift. So you're going to see, I think in the next couple of months, just like the market, you're going to see a shift in numbers. So we're watching that very closely. I'm working with Stephanie Grant right now, the treasurer, to make sure that we keep on track. We did a cash flow analysis that will be presented to finance next month and the board, so you guys know exactly where we are financially. The reserves look really good. The sweep accounts look really good. So for right now, we're really good, and we're starting to reduce a lot of spending too. So that's a good thing, even though the economy and everything is going up. For PS cases, we're doing good this year. We have about 24 ethics cases, 8 arbitrations, and 3 ombudsmen, which is so far less than we had last year, which is a good thing. Communications, if you guys are not watching Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we're not on TikTok yet.
And
you never know.
Not this year.
Wait a minute. I found your TikTok account, by the way.
It's my dog.
So we are on that. So please make sure you look out for all social media posts for communications. If you guys have opted out of our communications, please make sure that you call us so you can get opted back in the communications. We send out about 24 to 26 communications a month, which gives you everything that's going on in the association, including weekly with committee meetings, board of directors. Like you guys would have got our email yesterday regarding the board of directors meeting tomorrow, that you guys can register. So just please look out for your communications because it's important. And the next thing is bylaws, because Mr. President has shifted the bylaws over to me.
It's because there was a lot of them. We worked on them a long time. I know they've been in the works for a couple years, and we actually finally got them.
COVID.
Yeah, before COVID. So we actually got them in front of the general membership this month, and got them all passed. So we can give a synopsis of that. But I thought that was an interesting process, and it took me about halfway to figure out the dynamic between me and Sherry.
Yes.
Well, we haven't had
a bylaws meeting in like 3 years because of COVID and everything. So
usually it's the bylaws chair up there doing it. So,
so that was a different thing too. You had to step in at the last minute. So Brandon already mentioned one change, which is the board of directors are now moving from 15 members to 16 members. The 16th member includes the MLS chair. So Rich Roberto will be serving starting tomorrow on the board of directors, and then followed with Rich will be Steve K for 2023. We also added just a short little paragraph talking about responsibilities for the board of directors. So you can look at that. We changed a few sections around. The bigger change, I think, is what's most important is that we took the officer and directors candidate elections and the qualifications, and we moved those into bylaws. So that way they can't be altered every meeting
Yeah, I
or
think
every year.
that was a significant change, but it was a good change because currently all that stuff was in policy.
Correct.
And policy can be changed by the board with the votes, but bylaws has to go to the membership. So this secures that so that the membership actually gets to make those decisions.
Correct, the qualifications. So the only change with the qualifications is one, I think it was under the officers where it talked about one
Executive.
full year for executive. The directors stayed the same. Everybody, I think, at the general membership thought that the vacancy section was going away, but it didn't. It just got moved a section because we added in the qualification. So for those that were worried about that it went away, it did not go away. That is still in there and it's full intact. The only other big changes that we made, it seemed like there was a lot during the meeting because we had to break up each of them in sections just in case that there was issues. The only other thing that we did is we updated the executive committee section, and it's not the big change is there's a section in the bylaws that talks about an office and how many members an office is allowed to have on the board of directors. Currently, if you have more than 100, you're allowed to have 3. This goes in and says that now out of those 3, only 2 can sit on the executive board. So that's the bigger change there for the executive board. So if I was to have 3 people from my company, I can only have 2 of them sitting on executive, but still only 3 total. So that was a big change, that you can only have 2 on the executive committee. And the only other big change I think that went with that was if by some chance you tried to switch companies in the middle of the campaigning, would be if I was working for
or in the middle of your term. Even.
Then it was going to change to make sure that you didn't go within that 2-year period.
So my understanding is now if there was a change in one of the executive that changed to be on the same company as 2 others that were already on executive, if that was there, then that person would have to resign.
Correct. So if I had 2 people from my company already on executive and Devin was from my company and he wanted to come over, somebody would have to resign because you can't have more than 3 on executive. Correct.
Makes sense.
And then
There's mud.
Other than that, it just talks about the, again, full year in the treasurer's position and then adding the MLS. And then we just went in and did some housekeeping. So we actually finally added in LVR versus everything going through for GLVAR. So in the beginning, it makes a reference and then it talks about LVR. So we were able to do that all at once because we were doing housekeeping already. And so it was a great meeting. We had the candidate open forum, which was great. You moderated that, and then we were able to record that.
Those were actually really fun. I mean, we obviously did the one at general membership meeting, which was a lot to cram in when we had bylaw changes as well.
Yes, it was.
But we got it through a little bit. We ran a little bit long, but we did pull it off. But I really enjoyed the 2, the other Meet the Candidates.
Meet the Candidates, yeah.
The one out at Revere out there in Henderson. That was nice. It was a little bit more intimate. You were able to kind of meet and talk with the candidates a little bit more, get to know them a little bit more. And then we had the one in Siena. That was really good. So I hope we continue to do those in the upcoming years because I think we can grow on that.
I do too, because what the nice thing about it too, if you noticed, because you were at both of the events like I was, that the one in Henderson had different people than the one in Summerlin. So the candidates actually got to meet new people in each location. So I thought that was really good that you didn't just have the same group of people. You had a different set of group of people that went to both of them.
Yeah, so we got a lot more exposure for the candidates than we maybe were able to do in the past. So that was good. Some of the other fun things, we had our crypto committee. It was actually solidified, and they had their first meeting.
That is a good committee, but it is like watching a tennis match. It is going back and forth between the tables to understand everything. But it's a good group of people, and they have high energy in there, which is very exciting about what's coming forward with between the forums and the education and all that. So that's really going to be a good thing to look forward to.
And I've had calls of people, how do I get on that? How do I get on that? It's not really a committee that's open like a Trends or something, but they'll partner with like Trends and YPN and different things to bring crypto information to the members. So you're already on committees that will be exposed more and more to the crypto. In fact, I know the next YPN event, they are actually going to bring in some crypto training for that. So it should be pretty cool to really get our feet wet, or some of these members that don't know a lot about crypto or blockchain to actually get to learn some of this stuff and put it out there. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
It's very interesting.
But you're right, those committees that committee is fun because there's a lot of intelligence there, because you can tell they know their stuff on the different
and
things.
they all each know something different, which is nice, because they start talking about blockchain and then they start talking about NFTs and then they jump over to something else, and you just kind of gotta constantly watch what they're talking about.
But trying to Google
I know
terms. No.
I'm just sitting there waiting for somebody to translate for me, but no, it's a really good committee, and it's a really good group of individuals. And what the one thing I like about it too is I haven't met most of those individuals, which is nice to see. New faces coming in and being on committees and getting involved is really nice to see.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about that. And then we have approved the communications committee. Yes. We should hopefully be ratifying the members on that, and that is a closed committee that is basically designed to help the board create better modes of communication with the members.
Yes.
For that, so that we can get the message out, and it's not just email or it's not just text, but we're communicating with the members in the way that they want to be communicated with. And so I'm excited about that committee as well, and to see what kind of work they create for you and your staff. That'll be cool.
It's going to be big. I mean, just listening to the PAG, they have so many ideas, which is really good, and it's nice to have a think tank sometimes.
Yeah, so and then hopefully they can put stuff together to help implement it and move that stuff forward. So.
And then you have the broker committee they should be finalizing up hopefully tomorrow too.
Yeah, we do have a broker committee, and they've been reached out to, and this is by invitation, but it's their cycle. So there'll be applications out this next year if any of the brokers want to serve on that committee, and it's a group that doesn't meet on a regular basis, but they will meet kind of with the executive board basically to go over things and to get their input on things, and also to be able to announce things to them so that they can not be blindsided when things come out. For instance, like forms or anything like that, the major changes are coming out. This will be the group that it'll be launched out to before, so that they can help us communicate the message.
Yeah, and you guys already have a couple of directives for them, so that'll be good.
Yeah, so I know Lee Barrett was reaching out to all of them, and so hopefully we've got that all squared away, and they can have their first meeting this year before the year's over.
Correct.
So, but yeah, that's an exciting group as well. So, and I know Lee just had a broker breakfast this week. And,
yes, with Nelson, that was really good. If you missed it, he actually stayed and did a class afterwards, a seminar afterwards, which was really good. And then don't miss the one in October, because we have Naboo coming down in October to do that broker. That's a broker reception. So that's exciting. And then you have a couple of PSF receptions coming up. You got a major investors reception coming up. You got a YPN 10 for 10 pledge coming up, which is good. And then they had the YPN event. So that was good. Yeah. That was a huge turnout.
Who's Who Under 40? Yeah, that was a great event. They had that at the Sahara. And it turned out really nice. Everyone looked great.
And MLS has their tech forum coming up. They gave out 2 tickets at the general membership, so they have their tech forum coming up. And then we have alumni coming up, which is exciting because we have our first 60-year member. Has actually been a member for 60 years. Will be honored at the alumni lunch.
That is awesome.
It's a huge thing. It's a big thing. So we have a lot of we have like 127 25 years. We have a 30-year pin given out, a 35-year pin, 40, 45, 50, and 60 years. Wow. It's huge.
It's going to be a long lunch.
It's the first time that we've had a 60-year pin. I'm excited to give that one out.
That is really cool. So hopefully
that's coming up.
Everyone's there that qualifies for that, comes to that lunch. That'd be great. So lots of events coming up. Make sure you watch the website, your emails, for the dates and make sure you get registered and come out to those.
And don't forget that committees are still going. They're still meeting monthly. The committee schedule is online. If you just go to the website, you can still join a committee. You can still get on a committee, even though it is almost August. I was going to say July, but it's almost August. But you can still get on a committee, and to do that, you just got to come to the first 2 committee meetings, and then the third one you get voted on. And the committees are doing really good about recognizing all new faces on all their committees. So it's still not too late to get on a committee. So come down and join and get involved.
See, you're having a good time on these podcasts, right?
I'm not going to answer that on
You're
live.
not going to answer that. All right.
No, not
well,
on live. You always try to catch me on live.
Yeah, it looks like we've made it through another episode of LVR Talk. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to seeing you at committee meetings and online or at the board when possible.
Board meetings. Please come into board meetings if you have any questions or concerns. Thanks, guys.